You're bigger.
Sure. I gotta click it so she can be on stage. It's for some reason it's not wanting us to do that, but now it is. So now, Val, you should be able to get up there. All right, awesome.
There she is.
Okay, well, let's get live on LinkedIn here and let's get ready to go. Dan, he keeps us humping here. So
yeah, right on time, well done. And we might have a couple shout outs for Dan. We were just talking about Dan earlier today, weren't we, Damon?
Yeah, we were.
And we've got Nigel. So Nigel, our man across the pond, is with us today. So happy Friday, Nigel.
Yep. Here we go. We're going live on the different places we go live. All right, we are live. Welcome, everyone, once again to the Manufacturing E-commerce Success Series. Glad to have you here today. We're live on LinkedIn. We're live on Twitter. We're here on Remo. So happy that you're joining us here today. I'm Damon Postolka, one of your hosts, and my brother from another mother on the other side of the country, Curt Anderson. Take it over, Curt.
Hey, Damon. Thank you, brother. So, guys, happy Friday. What 2021? Where did you go, man? Did you guys just blink? And didn't we just get this whole party started yesterday? How on earth did this?
An hour ago.
It's insane, isn't it? That's at least how I feel. So, guys, we made it. We survived another year of this little pandemic thing. 2021 is winding down. We're 2 weeks from the end. Can't believe it. Damon, this is our last show for the year.
Yep.
So we saved the best for last. So, guys, big introduction, big round of applause, big warm welcome to our dear friend, Val Weber. Val, happy Friday to you, my friend.
I feel especially privileged now knowing I'm the last guest of the year
of 2021, this wonderful magical year of 21. Nigel gives a clap. So guys, this is such an honor for me. So actually Val and I we're literally neighbors. We're right down the road from each other. And so Val, tell us a little bit. So you're the marketing manager of Monofrax. Okay, so now we have so much to unpack today. We're here to talk about the introvert in you and just being that fierce marketer. But let's take a little step back in time. Okay, Fredonia, University of Fredonia grad here in Western New York. Manufacturing. How did manufacturing come on your radar? What drove you to a career in manufacturing?
Probably the same way I became a marketing manager accidentally.
Yeah.
Nice.
I worked for nonprofits for a few years. Then I was out of work for a year.
Oh no.
Was making, applications everywhere, and a job here came up, and I was like, okay, well, I'll try for it. If I get it, I'll stay 6 months while I'm still making applications other places. 30 years later, I'm still here. 30 years, I sort of fell in love with manufacturing.
Well, awesome. when you start when you're in grade school, right? So 30 years, it just goes by. And that's the thing. So guys, you have to connect with Val. She is absolutely awesome. Just a breath of fresh air. You and I actually met back, man, in the prehistoric times when we actually could meet in person. You guys, I don't know if you guys remember, once upon a time, we actually could meet in person and life was a little bit more free. But you and I met at this fun little conference. It was put on by our dear friends in Industrial Marketers, Protocol 80. And it was an all-day event, and you and I sat right next to each other. And that was the first time I had the honor and privilege of meeting you. And so, as you guys know, I'm a terrible introvert, very quiet, Damon. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Very reserved.
Yeah.
And so here's poor Val sitting next to crazy Curt. But we had a great time at that event, developed our friendship. So Val, talk a little bit about from a marketing standpoint in manufacturing, what are you seeing? What are over 30 years? What are some of the transitions that you've seen? And then we're going to get caught into what you're working on today.
Oh, wow. I started out as the quotation clerk.
Mm-hmm.
Then I absorbed the job of the secretary to the sales manager. Then I absorbed the job of the order clerk. Then I absorbed the job of the pricing specialist. And then I became sort of the customer service coordinator. And then we had another buyer, and I became basically a person that did data entry and proofing, which was sort of like death by 1,000 paper cuts. And we got purchased again. And the general manager came to me a few months later and said, well, I see you've written some things in the past. You helped us work on the website, even though at the time I was clueless. And he said, well, how would you feel about doing a little more writing? I was like, well, yeah, because I've been dying here doing nothing but proofing and data entry. So sure. I didn't think it was going to be much. And the next thing I knew, he was introducing me to the new owners as the marketing manager. And I had one of those Macaulay Culkin moments where it was like, oh, what have I gotten myself into?
Yeah, that's awesome.
And next thing I know, I'm starting to write for LinkedIn, and then we get control of the LinkedIn for the business, and I'm starting to post for the business. Then I'm on Twitter, then I'm on Facebook. Now we just started Instagram. I'm writing articles for publications in our industry. We're doing videos. We're talking about doing a podcast.
Nice.
Things just sort of exploded.
Right. And we'll dig into this in a little bit. Our dear friends from Gen Alpha, our lovely Chris Harrington and Kevin are with us today. And we're actually having e-commerce conversations at Monofrax as well. John in Jersey, happy Friday, my friend. So let's do this, Val. Share with everybody. So a couple of things about guys that I want to share about Val. So chief storyteller, Fusecast aficionado, the customer evangelist and lifelong learner. And boy, you are the lifelong learner. I have to say, like, you attend webinars. I wore my manufacturing trailblazer shirt just for
there
you.
You go.
And same here.
Oh, the girl team.
There you go.
Look at that. Just for our dear friend Allison DeFord. So that is awesome. So let's talk about this. What on earth is Fusecast Refractory? For anybody that doesn't know what Monofrax does, please enlighten us. Guys, you're walking away. You learn something new every day. Here you go. You're going to learn something new.
Fusecast refractories are essentially artificial stone.
Artificial
So we're taking minerals and melting them down at temperatures hotter than lava and making incredibly dense stone that's used to line glass-making furnaces. It's used for steel making, for the production of light metals, coal gasification. It's used for the disposal of nuclear waste to create glass encapsulated waste. So it's got a lot of applications, and it's really cool. We're basically a ceramic foundry.
Yeah.
It is cool. And I had the honor and privilege just a couple months ago. I had a tour of the full facility. And man, I'm telling you, this is such a cutting edge. To me, it was a cutting edge process, but you've been doing it for centuries. And I just want to share, Damon, we were on a call earlier and you were talking about, like, so here in New York State, you're talking about in Washington, there's like Eastern Washington, Western Washington. You have Seattle, more metro, and then Eastern part is a little bit more rural, slower pace, In New York, same thing. So down in the city, hustle, bustle. Val and I are in upstate. It's a totally different animal. And up here, it's a very industrial, the old Rust Belt, if you will, a lot of old factories from World War II, so on and so forth. And Val's company goes back decades. I almost said centuries. Goes back decades, long history in our community, great employer, and a wonderful success story where this company almost left to go to another country. And I want to talk about, Val, share a little bit. And you've been through this whole journey. You mentioned, I think, 3 or 4 different ownerships. I heard as you did your intro, right? From used to be called Carborundum, and then multiple different names, foreign owned, so on and so forth. Several years ago, Bill Andrews, your president, CEO of the company today, came in, and these guys saved the company, saved 100 plus jobs for the area. Talk a little bit about that transition, and that you were right a part of this whole exciting venture.
Oh yeah. Actually, we're on, I think, the 5th owner since I started here.
When's it your turn, Val? When's it going to be Val's Refractory?
We've been predominantly owned by refractory companies or companies that work in steel. And this last time, they're an investment firm. Mm-hmm. So they added us to their portfolio, and Bill really made it his mission to make us really successful here, because he feels a real obligation to the families of the people that work here.
Nice.
And keeping jobs in the area, which also helps support other small businesses in the area.
Yeah.
So part of what we do is we have a responsibility to our customers, our people that work here in our community.
That is man. And big round of applause. It is such a great success story. I know several years ago, I was on the local chamber of commerce. He won like, business of the year, man of the year, whatever that award was. And so just a great and wonderful, inspiring story, great success for you, your company, the community, all the above. I'm going to talk about, let's go back to this little tour that I that I took. And you mentioned how it's hotter than lava. Damon, if you could see like the process is just, it's mind blowing of what they do on a daily basis. And Vale, talk about like your lead times. Like, I mean, it's crazy the process. If I place an order, like walk us through that real quick.
Lead times can be anything from a couple of weeks for standard stock that we keep here, or they can be up to, if you want a full furnace at this point, we're up to like 32 weeks.
Wow. Yeah, it is crazy.
Because you're waiting because of the orders in front of you, and then to wait for raw materials. And once we pour the material, I mean, we have to do the drawings, we have to make the molds, we have to pour the material into the molds, and then it has to sit and cool.
Yeah.
And it sits and cools for maybe 2 to 4 weeks.
Right.
Because otherwise it's too hot to work with. And then after that, then there's finishing, whether it's sawn, whether there's grinding, drilling a hole, and then we assemble it, match market. The customers may come in for an inspection, then they inspect it all, then it all has to be packed up, and then it gets shipped out. So it's a really long lead time in some cases.
Yeah. And what's fascinating, Damon, so I had the privilege of, I took a tour with an engineer, and he was, man, it was just so cool and so fascinating to see how that process. And I saw the finished goods, orders that were going out the door. And he talked about, he would like the lead times to be even longer, but he's like, I know sales and, upper management doesn't want that. But from an engineering standpoint, he was like, I'd almost like to see it a little slower because it takes so long to cool it down.
Yeah.
Like it's that hot that it takes weeks to cool it down. And so, again, Chris and Kevin at Gen Alpha, you're going to absolutely love this. So you guys, you're talking about taking on e-commerce where, like, is there an opportunity to put some things in stock to help improve those lead times? So now you still have the same lead time, but now going with some standard products, now you can get it out the door. What a great competitive advantage going in that direction.
Oh yeah. And I think it's really going to be interesting because we're planning on having our normal standard stock, which everyone buys for repairs, or whether they're just have a small art glass furnace.
Mm-hmm.
We compare that some of the small art glass furnaces we say are sort of the size of a Volkswagen Beetle.
Yeah. And
some of the really large float glass furnaces are larger than a basketball court.
Wow. That is that is absolutely insane. So Val, so I want to talk about, let's go into our topic for today is you are the fierce networker converted from an introvert. And I know there's a lot of folks out there that are painful, extreme introverts. And for them, this is painfully uncomfortable to get out of that zone, and put yourself out there. And earlier in the conversation, you listed like, hey, we're doing Twitter, we're doing Facebook, we're doing LinkedIn. You've written some amazing articles for periodicals. I've read those articles. You're crushing it there. Talk a little bit of any advice for somebody who's maybe where you were a few years ago, just starting out. What advice do you have? Like, how do you take that first step as an introvert to become a networker?
First step, I would say, is your computer's your best friend. And because introverts as a whole, I mean, our favorite movie quote is, I already know an awful lot of people, and until one of them dies, I couldn't possibly meet anyone else.
Good. Now, and Val, just sorry to sidestep here. What's your competition like here in the U.S.?
We are the only manufacturer of fuse cast in the U.S.
Yes, the only manufacturer that does this in the United States. That is so fascinating. And what a legacy to keep that process here. And you guys are working relentlessly to do so. So, okay. So again, let's get back on track as far as, okay. So taking that first step, your computer's your best friend. What other pieces of advice do you have?
Actually, events like this are second best because that chat box, if all you have to do is put your LinkedIn information in the chat box, right, that's it. Because other people will contact you and say, hey, I'd like to connect. You don't have to do anything else.
Right.
That makes it so ridiculously easy.
Right.
Yeah.
So LinkedIn, the chat box and events like this and small events are best, because I've been to some really big conferences and such for marketers. And yeah, there's a chat box and people are talking, but it's like trying to enter your senior year of high school as the new kid. And everyone else is chatting with each other, and you're just kind of there going, okay, nobody's going to talk to me. Fine, I guess I'll go home.
So, and let's do this. Okay, when you get on LinkedIn and you're a manufacturer, one of the first human beings that's going to find you one way or another, and then they're going to connect you with literally everybody and open up all sorts of floodgates of opportunity. And he happens to be on the program today, Dan Bigger. Like, what happens when you meet somebody like a Dan Bigger?
Your world just explodes. Because you meet someone like Dan Bigger, and you asked him to connect, and then you tell him, I've heard something about this USA manufacturing hour. Could you explain it to me? Because I've never been on a Twitter chat and I have no clue what to do. And being the incredibly generous, nice person that he is, he calls you up and explains how it works and how to log in, and you're just like,
and walks you through it.
He walked me through it completely. And the first time I went, I was just like, this is the coolest place. Because if you want to, and if you're a real extreme introvert to start out with, you just lurk and you read everybody else's posts.
Right.
And then you eventually start to post yourself. And since it's so fast and people are posting fast and furious, if you answer one question out of 10, you're good. Yeah. So you can work up to all 10 out of the entire group, but you meet the best people.
Right.
And you can be as active or as inactive as you want. So it's perfect. And everybody else is involved in the same issues and same questions. And that's the second thing about introverts is we hate small talk because we don't know what to say. So, but if you have a subject that people really want to dive into that interests them, we can talk all day. I mean, if you want me to talk about refractories, you can't shut me up. So, so if you get in something like USA Manufacturing Hour, then it's great because these are the topics that you're interested in. You can start discussing them in depth, and this is exactly what introverts love.
Yeah.
So it's in your wheelhouse, and it's not difficult, and you don't actually have to talk to people in real life.
Right.
Yeah.
Man, this is this is so spot on. This is just to recap this, and then of course we're going to continue our Dan Bigger Love Fest because I have another funny thing to share about Dan.
Oh, this is hilarious.
But look what you're saying, Val. So for like it's scary hitting that submit button for the first time, whether it's like your first comment on somebody else's post or your own post, or going to that Twitter chat. Like taking that first step is a little bit uncomfortable. Then also next thing you know, it gets a little bit easier, just like anything else in life. And I love that senior, the new kid at senior class. That's a perfect analogy. Yeah. So Damon, we're on a call this morning, and I don't know if you were on when Don from Alaska was talking about Dan Bigger. Were you?
Yeah.
So we're on a call this morning with a company out of Alaska, a young company that's we connected through the Alaska MEP. And Don, our dear friend Don, who owns a fishing lure manufacturing business, he says, yeah, well, that guy Dan Bigger just connected me with a new manufacturer that they're doing prototypes for me. And he's going on and on about Dan Bigger. And I'm just sitting there and I'm like, of course, someone in Alaska has been connected with Dan Bigger, and Dan Bigger is out there how many thousands of miles away, he's, solving his problems. And what was that? An hour? It was just an hour ago.
Yeah,
right?
It was an hour ago. Yeah.
So Dan, God bless you, dude. You are such a blessing. And so anyway, so we'll get back to Val. Val, as you started this intentional journey of Dan is the man, Nigel, I agree with you 100%. So as you started this intentional journey, you started to get more comfortable, out of that uncomfort zone, if you will, into your comfort zone of you're so able to be that introvert, but now you're connecting. Let's talk about the Twitter chat group. USA MFG USA hour every Thursday at 2:00 Eastern time, 11 o'clock Pacific. Talk about what that Twitter group has meant to you this past year.
That Twitter group has been so much. I'd say probably a third of my connections are from that group. And if you ever want to know what Norm feels like on Cheers, enter the Twitter chat, because once you've been there a couple times, the minute you show up, everybody's going, "Hey, so-and-so is here." And it's like this giant cheer goes up and you're like,
oh wow. Yeah.
So bad. I like this.
That, man, you are like the queen of analogies. That is like a perfect analogy. You go into that church, that is absolutely perfect. I like, hey, Val's in the house. Hey, Dan Bigger's here. Hey, Nigel's here. It's like everybody just swarms, and they're just, it's like everybody, and probably a lot of them, at some point in time have maybe met by now, but most of them hadn't met, and it wasn't even a virtual phone call. It was just like through this passionate connection through Twitter. And it's honestly, God, I was telling a millennial in manufacturing about it yesterday. And of course, I'm getting the resistance of like, I'm not into Twitter. I'm like, I'm telling you, please trust me. I know I'm an old dude.
Yeah.
You probably think I'm crazy. Please just go check out this Twitter chat every Thursday, because it's insane.
Yeah.
Share a little bit, Val. Just talk a little bit about some of the connections that you've made through the Twitter group.
Oh, they've been amazing, because it's that reciprocality, because we like each other's posts on LinkedIn, which of course the algorithm loves when people start to like your posts.
Right.
So you get that added reach. Your posts continue to generate more impressions. And I mean, these are the people that when you have a question, you reach out to them, because we were in the Twitter chat one day and everyone was using GIFs. And I was like, I don't know how to do this. I'm, technologically challenged. Katie, how do I do this? And she's like, oh, well, there's this little icon on the bottom when you're typing in Twitter thing. I was like, oh, okay. Now that I feel stupid, Katie, I will willingly put those in every post in my Twitter chat. But it's so fast and so furious that after an hour, it seems like 10 minutes have passed. It's just fun, which most people are like, oh, manufacturing, that's really not fun.
Right.
But I mean, first of all, manufacturing is fun and it's cool.
Yes.
But the Twitter chat is fun and cool, and it's all based in manufacturing, and everybody is so generous and so kind. Right. And even yesterday in the Twitter chat, Dan was like, so Valerie, you're prepping for your presentation tomorrow? Is that why you were late? It was like, no, because I didn't look at the clock and I forgot about it.
Yeah.
That is absolutely awesome. So again, like we could give shout out, like Damon, we just interviewed Sue Nordman on Monday, Paul Kishy, Gina Tabasso, Mike Womack from New Jersey MEP, Jeanette from Gen Edge, who David, by the way, we're interviewing her next month. Yeah. So like, I mean, I'm probably leaving. I'm Jennifer Wegman, Kirsten. I know I'm Ruby, Rebecca. We could just go right down the list. It's just an amazing, awesome group of people, just committed to, and again, we have fun, but there's a tremendous high value. And like you said, Val, it's like the fastest hour on the planet. I know I hosted one week, man. It was like, oh my God, it was like a locomotive, just out of control. Like my fingers were like sore at the end of that thing. So it's just absolutely crazy. So let's do this, Val. Let's talk about, now that you're the marketing guru and you've made this full-blown digital transformation for yourself, for a company that's been around for decades. What do you have in store for 2022? I know you mentioned, podcasts. Oh my God, you are so funny. Like, you're going to be an amazing. I'm like, Val could have like her own talk show. She's just so polished, Damon. Like, she's the opposite of us, but she's so polished. She's witty, funny, charming. So you mentioned podcasts. Talk a little bit about, like, specifically, what are some intentional things that you're looking to do, and what do you want to accomplish with that marketing? So marketing's great. We need to convert sales. Talk a little bit about that transition on your marketing efforts and how your plan to convert those into sales.
Well, because of those two nasty words, supply chain issues.
Yeah.
And actually, we're not just the only manufacturer of fused cast in the U.S. We are the only manufacturer of fused cast in the Americas.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's no one else in this hemisphere that manufactures the products that we do.
Yep.
So at this point, we're deciding that that's sort of a big selling point to people, because they don't have to worry about their material getting stuck on a boat somewhere, or in a container in drayage, or in a warehouse because it hasn't made it from drayage onto the road. So your delivery time is less than it would be if you were buying from Asia or Europe.
Mm-hmm.
And we're trying to leverage that a bit this year and really approach customers in the Americas and say, hey, we're here for you.
Mm-hmm.
We can solve your problems. We're here for your emergencies, because you're not going to have to wait weeks and weeks to solve your issue. You're not going to have to spend the money on air freight. And we're planning on starting the podcast because 2022 is the International Year of Glass. It's declared by the United Nations.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So we're celebrating that because the majority of our customers are in the glass industry, whether it's container glass, flat glass, all of that. And we want to celebrate that with them. We're trying to be as supportive of the industry as possible. We've been talking to people that are working in recycling glass, because we figure that that's supporting the industry as well, because the more recycled glass that goes into glass production, the lower the demands for energy. The less glass that goes into landfills, and all of those good things. So if we can support the whole circular economy sort of thing, it's a bonus for everybody. And we're also looking at the innovators in glass, the people who are doing the really exciting stuff.
Yeah.
There are companies that are doing bendable, foldable glass right now. There are companies that are doing glass that you could lay your phone or another device on a glass table and recharge it without plugging it into anything.
Wow.
So we want to talk to those people that are doing the really cool, innovative things, because that's the future of glass. And through a product that's thousands of years old.
Yeah.
There's so much that's going on with it, and you don't think about how much glass is connected with your everyday life. It's the front of your tablet, the front of your computer, the glass you look out the window, the glass you're drinking your orange juice in the morning.
Right.
Your car, you're surrounded by glass. So it's really an element that you don't think about because it's so prevalent. So we want to celebrate that.
That'll be fun.
Absolutely. And what a great story. You know, I know most of us were all big fans of Harry Moser from the Reshoring Initiative. And this is just great. This is a perfect example of bringing that manufacturing back from, that left the country, went other places. And, and you're leading the charge, Val. It is just so inspiring. It is so awesome for a person that started your career in nonprofits and now committed yourself for this little boy, a 6-month gig turned into a 30-year career. And, and even at this stage, lifelong learner, right in your headline on your LinkedIn profile, please connect with Val on LinkedIn, and, every webinar, every workshop, you went through our e-commerce training over the summer. Every time we put something out, man, we know Val is right there. And so, you are our inspiration. We're like, hey guys, we got to deliver our best because Val's out there. And you guys will love this. Chris at Harrington, if like whenever you go through the buyer persona, and like in our little workshops, we call them your soulmates. We're like, Damon and I are constantly saying, okay, what does Val want right now? What type of training would help Val right now? So like Val, I know what you were hoping for, your buddy Curt, your bald friend here is your soulmate, but you are our soulmate. And we're constantly asking ourselves, what does Val out there? What does she need? And how can we help you move the needle? So again, you've been an incredible support, great friend, wonderful inspiration. And again, I say this frequently, and I'm saying it today. Damon and I are big girl dads. You are such a wonderful inspiration for young women to come into manufacturing. So I know we could keep you all day. I'm going to ask you this question. We'll wind down, guys. Val, for young people out there, particularly young women, that manufacturing is dirty. That's what grandma and grandpa did, or that, share if you were at manufacturing day and you had a group of high school kids, college kids in front of you, what would you share with them about the incredible, exciting opportunities in manufacturing moving ahead?
Oh, wow. That manufacturing isn't what you think it is.
Yeah.
And manufacturing is responsible for everything around you.
Right.
If manufacturing wasn't here, you wouldn't have it. You wouldn't have the desk you're sitting at. You wouldn't have the device you're using to communicate with other people.
Right.
It's responsible for everything. And frankly, it's cool. I mean, we take minerals, heat them up, pour them out of a really hot container and make
container.
Stone.
It's incredible.
When you watch it, I hadn't seen it in years, and we went out to record a video for the local utility company. They wanted to promote us for free, part of my networking. Yay!
Yeah, there you go.
They came in to record it, and I walked around with them, and I'd forgotten how absolutely amazing it is.
Yeah.
Because you're just like, okay, this is really hot material. It's hotter than molten steel. Mm-hmm. And these people are working in perfect choreography to move the bins under the pour, to move them so the annealing mixture is on top, to move them to the cooling area and move the next bin in. And it's like watching a dance. They are so coordinated, and it's so well done, and they know exactly where they are and what they need to do next, that it's just absolutely amazing. And it's just such an opportunity for people. Mm-hmm. And it's all part of, that STEM, that math and science and all of that. There's so many interesting, innovative things that are going on now, that manufacturing is where all of the new things are happening.
That's right.
So,
yeah,
you're not in manufacturing, you're missing out.
You're not at the cool kid table, are you?
No.
That's for sure. That's for sure.
Well, this is absolutely awesome, Val. So what I want to do is we're going to wind down. What I'd love to do, if anybody is interested, available, we'd love to pull you guys on stage with us. So so Damon, if you're interested, if you could, why don't you just grab somebody and pull them up on stage? But Val, and I see Kevin just jumped off. But Val, if you could share with us, what are your goals for 2022? And you shared a lot of your strategies for the company. Anything? I didn't know you're a dog walker.
Oh yeah,
like a 20-year dog walker. God
20
bless
years.
you. Man,
Nice.
And I saw that you contributed to like a guide for did I read that correctly? Like you collaborated for like a dog walking guide or something?
I did, and I used to actually do the orientation for all the new dog walkers every month. So I trained them how to get the dogs in and out of the kennels and how to deal with them, how to wrestle with a dog that weighs half as much as you do.
Yeah.
Well, we're huge dog lovers on the show, so God bless you there. I didn't know that about you, and I saw that in your LinkedIn profile. So thank you for our community to what you do there. So for anybody that's I know we're at top of the hour. We're
5 minutes past. Yeah.
Time is flying by, Val.
Well,
so first, go ahead, Damon.
We're going to bring some people up here in a minute, but I just, Curt and I did a photo shoot the other day, and I was just going to show you some of the results. I'm a goofball, right? But Curt and I, we were out the other day. We decided, we were getting in the Christmas spirit. We thought, hey, we better get ready for it. We were on the ferry going out, and then we were kind of hanging out. We decided, well, we should take another picture. We were just hanging out. It was a nice sunny day, so we hit that one too, and just thought we'd feel the Christmas spirit. So I just wanted to share that we were getting into the holidays and being ready for the vacations that are coming up. So,
dude, that is absolutely awesome, man. And so, as you can tell, the hats were Photoshopped, but that was really us together. That was that took place over the summer. So I had the honor of hanging out with Damon for a day, and we had a great time. So, dude, that was awesome. That's our Christmas card to everybody. So, anyway, so thank you for sharing that, Damon. I appreciate that. So Val, goals for 2022. What are you hoping to accomplish? What's on your radar for 2022?
Oh, on my radar for 2022, get this podcast launched, because I've only been talking about it for 3-4 months at this point.
Nice.
I also graduated from our local Chautauqua Leadership Network, finally.
I saw all that. Congratulations.
Thank you. And now for my sins, I'm on the board.
Nice.
So surviving my first year as a board member should be an experience as well.
Absolutely.
Learning as much as I possibly can, because that's my passion. If I'm not learning something every day, then it's just forget about it.
God, I'll tell you, you are such an inspiration. That is absolutely awesome. So, all right. So with that, we're going to wind down. Who's going to come up, Damon? Who are we going to grab here?
I don't know. Let's just start seeing if people want to come up. So I'm just going to invite you to the stage. If you can get up, we are get some people. I think
Nigel, we
we
have
had
a
some
small
people
crowd.
leaving.
Just grab,
Yeah, we're
just
gonna
grab
get everybody, but because I think some people left when you said that, Curt.
I know they see they're introverts, Val. That's what the problem is. There he is.
There's Dan.
There's Dan, the man. So Dan, happy Friday, dude.
How are you guys?
There's Nigel. There's Chris Harrington. So guys, happy Friday. How are you?
Happy Friday.
Yes.
Nigel, thanks for you're coming to us from across the pond. You know what? I got my Christmas hat upstairs. I forgot to.
I know. I forgot mine too.
So I haven't had an opportunity to use it yet. So here we go.
This is my hair.
There you go.
Man, I got hair envy now. I had it earlier too, Damon. So Nigel, how are you, man? How are things across the pond today?
Yeah, it's a bit of grey, but I just finished a 3-day consultancy project, which Anna invoiced, so I'm quite happy about that.
Yeah.
Christmas now, and I've got a few projects for next year. Always going, always learning, like Val said, always learn.
Always learn, always be learning. I absolutely love that. So 2 questions for you. Holiday plans, number 1. Number 2, goals for 2022. What's on your radar? What do we want to come into 2022 strong? What's on your radar for next year?
Who's going first?
Nigel is.
Oh, me. Oh, right. Okay. Right. Holiday plans. Well, I'll be working up until about Thursday next week because I've got my own work to do, and then it'll give me a week free then to just walk, do a few chores around the house. We'll go down a couple of other beaches not far from here, except for the one that we use ourselves every day. It's just to give a bit different perspective, a different outlook. I mean, Dan's lucky because he's got lovely beaches to go walking on, and it's probably
Yeah.
We're not going to talk to Dan.
It's warm there, is it, in SC? It's quite cold here and grey, but it's not too bad. It never gets below about 4 degrees. That's centigrade, then, not Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
I don't know what the conversion rate is.
It's about 40. Yeah, it's about 40 degrees. I was just doing the conversion.
I got transferred over to the continental way of measuring temperature, and I've not been able to lose it. I prefer imperial to this Mickey Mouse stuff. Well, it's from the engineering life that I had before. We used to refer to. I started learning in feet and inches, and then suddenly we went metric with joining the European Union, and now we're going back to imperial, or slowly going back to imperial, because there was a period of time where you're not allowed to sell things in pints or like milk or pounds in beer. In pints in beer, but we still bought a pint, but it was measured in and priced in liters, and it's just crazy. So we can go. The law's been changed since we've left the European Union. Now the law's been changed. We go back to those old ways. So all the youngsters, the millennials, and Generation Z, and all that lot, they're totally confused. But us oldies, we can still do it.
It's stressful just even thinking about it. So. So what are share some what are goals coming into 2022 for you, Nigel?
I spent the last year growing my audience, which I hope then to start leveraging as we go forward. And I think one of the I was doing a presentation to a lot of freelancers across Europe last week, and one of the things that they didn't realize till I pointed it out was the fact that most of them can only deal with about 2 or 3 clients at any one time. And I think that's a mistake with smaller companies. They push a huge, they invest a lot of money in advertising, promotion, and then they get 7 clients come along at one go, and they can't deal with them. There's not enough time in the day or week to actually deal and give a good job. So it's better to focus in on 2 or 3 clients and do a very good job for them, and then just make sure you're in a position to replace one as the projects finish.
It's like being a job shop when you're a contractor or a consultant. It's like it's almost being a job shop, right? You know, trying to bring in the order, then you get bottlenecked. You're like, and you're so busy putting out the product, you forget about marketing. You're like, oh no, I got to fill my pipeline. So it's an ebb and flow, right?
This is where it's better to say, right, I need these number of clients. This is the type of client I want, and actually focus and go after them. And be very intense on that and win those clients. So you've got that thing going forward. And networking is the perfect opportunity for that. It was great what you said, and Val, it's a given that you have to build that relationship up with your audience first before you can step into the sales side of things. And sometimes the people you network with are never going to be a client, but they know people who say, "Oh, you want to talk to Val, or you want to talk to Nigel."
Yeah.
I don't know if you can pick up that link there, Val, that I put into the chat. It goes to a thing called the KTN. It's a British knowledge transfer network, and there are phenomenal industries in there, from biosciences all the way through. And there's one there I just found, which is innovation exchange challenge, improving the durability of furnaces used for glass melting. Well, do you export? I'm sure you do. There we are. Go in there. It is a network just like LinkedIn, except it's for the knowledge industry. And it's about all the people doing the experimentation you were talking about. Because once you started talking about it, I thought, whoa, you need to be involved in that. And I think it's open to everyone because it's all about knowledge transfer. Sorry, I'm taking over your program.
Yeah. So that was very helpful. Good. And Nigel, I appreciate your insight, your wisdom. It's always an honor and privilege connecting with you. Love chatting with you on Thursdays. Yeah. Let's jump over to Wisconsin. Chris, love the hat, love the do. What's holiday plans coming into 2022? What's on your radar?
Yeah. So, well, Val, it's a pleasure to listen to you today. I haven't had an opportunity to meet with you yet, so it was really nice to hear your story. As a fellow introvert, I can appreciate some of your stories and how you get started there as well. So we're doing a staycation here. Nice. I don't know if you know, but I'm on just about 5.5 acres, and outside of Gen Alpha, we run 2 girls and a farm. So we've got chickens and ducks, and we do bees, and we've got all kinds of stuff, trees and big gardens. So there's plenty for us to do just around the farm. So that's where we're going to be with family this year.
Awesome.
As far as goals, I think it's pretty exciting for us at Gen Alpha. We are rolling out a warranty module, an RMA module. We're advancing our configurator. So you'll love that, Curt. Nice. So we are starting to really deliver on this 360-degree view for equipment manufacturers, not just aftermarket, but all the services that support that digital transformation. So really excited about some of the things we're going to be delivering and enhancing on next year. So more to come on that. And then personally, I have a goal to read 20 books. It's always fun for me to dive into other people's stories. At the last few years, I've been reading more about people. I used to say that I always lived in the self-help section of the bookstore. So that's where I used to get all of my books. But now I'm really reading stories about former leaders and their lives and challenges and the way that they overcome and succeed. So it's been really fun.
Well, that's awesome. So guys, if anybody has any great leadership books, drop those to Chris. Please. Put it on her wish list. My bucket list for 2022 is to come to Milwaukee and meet you in person, Chris.
Oh, please do.
We're going to talk about that. We're going to make that happen. So, okay. All right, let's slide down south. We're going to go down my ex-New Yorker, my ex-partner in crime here, dude, Dan Bigger. We love your brother. What's going on in your world? What and for you guys that aren't aware of this, Dan has 2 sets of twins. So what are you and the family? What do you guys have planned for Christmas? This is your first Christmas in down south, right?
Yep. So we're going to take it easy. My daughters are playing volleyball, so they get a break from that. My boys are playing baseball, flag football, and wrestling. So
nice. Yeah, they're busy.
We all need a break.
Yeah. Yeah. So just kind of shutting it down, just quiet, just enjoy family time.
I'm going to spend my first Christmas on the beach.
First Christmas on the beach.
Nice.
Oh, Val, you jealous or what, man? I'm just
75 right now.
How about, what is it?
75.
Well, it was 60 here yesterday, so we're close. Nice. We're right behind you. So Dan, what goals for you? You are the relentless networker. Again, like everybody on the stage could probably count for, I don't know how many people in our network, thanks to you. What's on your radar for 22? I guess maybe we owe you something. What can we do to help you for 2022?
I've got some personal goals, so I'm gonna lose 20 pounds. That's nice. The first goal, and then I'm gonna get back to networking. I've sort of taken a break for the last month and a half or so, just to calm down a little bit with my kids and new move and everything else. So I'm gonna get back to that, and then just learning more about the extrusion business and custom profile, the company that I work for now, and starting to get more into that and getting out there. We service North America, so it's a big pond to fish in.
Yeah.
Nice. That's awesome. And what's how's the new gig going? How do you like the new company? How's the transition? I mean, you took on a lot right in the middle of a pandemic. You moved 4 or 5 states away. You took on a new career, new job. How's everything going with you?
It's going good. I just have a lot to learn. And I hate being I'm never the smartest guy in the room, but I'm always the hardest working. So I'm going to keep working and doing that. And,
there you go.
The support team I have is good. We're just like everybody else. We're running into supply chain problems and fighting our way through them. I mean, we haven't had as many as maybe some other people have, but
right.
But everything's going great.
Awesome.
Good.
Well, again, thank you for everything that you do. You're so modest and humble. I know, between the Twitter chat, all the connections, you are the go-giver. So thank you for what you do. Damon, while we're on stage, any big family plans for the holidays, for Christmas, and what's on your radar for 2022?
Well, we're going to do like a lot of people. We're going to relax. We got our stuff. We got some travel planned in February and doing that, but we're just going to hang around home and spend time with family. And that's usually what we do. Because if you ever tried to get into an airport around Christmas, I'd rather put a nail in my foot, I'd bullet in my head. I don't care. The worst thing you can imagine, that's about me going to the airport this time of year. It's just not happening anymore.
Yeah.
But so we spend that time. But yeah, when you look at 2022 for us, it's in our business, it's continuing these kind of things because these are a lot of fun. And really focus on how we can share more information that helps people doing what we do, growing businesses and helping their businesses getting ready and selling them. And that's really connecting with the manufacturing community and the others that we help and doing is what we're going to be doing. And having more conversations with networking people and talking to those. Because for me, as Valerie can attest to, I'm an introvert, right? And people don't think that. And I've had to work to get to this point. And network for me doesn't come natural. And I have to force myself, schedule it, and do it. But that's what I'm doing more of. So, yeah.
Awesome. So, all right, guys. So for myself,
hold on, we gotta do you. You gotta do.
Yeah, you gotta do you. I mean, you think we're gonna stop? We're not gonna stop now. You gotta go, and then we got.
So we were going to travel, but like this little COVID thing is kind of, getting a little goofy. So I think, we might just kind of stay put, enjoy family time, just relax for a little bit, probably do some work. And for 2022, so I'm knee deep in my second book. So Chris, Gen Alpha is in there. Awesome. My buddy Damon's in there. A little shout out Dan Bigger. I might have to talk to Nigel. I might have to talk to Val. So I'm like full throttle. I don't know if I'm halfway, but I've made a huge dent. So, and it's all about niching down, about how to like really niche down hard, stay in your lane, stay in your strike zone. So, Chris, I have like a nice little write-up on Gen Alpha that I'm putting in the book. So
thank you. You're
very welcome. So, just continue the path of, we work with, just knocking on a lot of MEP doors, SBDCs, doing training, working with
associations.
Associations. So that's my shtick, my story, and I'm sticking with it. So,
all right,
guys.
Hilton Head Island's only 16 hours away.
I know it is. Oh, dude, you're killing me.
And we're wide open, man.
When you first got down there every day, I kept showing my wife. I'm like, hey, look at my buddy. I go, the guy Dan that I go to dinner with once in a while. I go, now he's on the beach. I can't go to dinner with him anymore. Number one. Number two, he's always showing himself. Here's the sunrise. Here's the sunset. I'm like, okay, man.
Yes, my morning walk. I can't do it because it's getting too late, but I'll get back to it.
Chautauqua Lake's not quite the same. So, all right.
Not like the Atlantic.
All right, guys. So, hey, Merry Christmas to each and every one of you. Happy holidays. Happy New Year. We have an amazing lineup of speakers.
Oh, wow. It is something
coming up. So just to share real quick. So if you guys heard of the company Big Ass Fans?
Yes.
Familiar? So we have the founder and CEO. He sold the company for $500 million. So he's speaking the first week. We have John Jantz, who wrote the book Duct Tape Marketing. We have the editor-in-chief from Inc. Magazine. So we have Allison DeFord coming on. Val, she's going to be coming up in January. So we have some great speakers coming up. So we're going to have a lot of fun. guys, together as a team, we're so much stronger. So between Thursdays, join us on Friday, keep supporting each other. And you guys are such an inspiration for myself and Damon. Thank you for your support. Thank you for coming out and hanging out with us. We appreciate you more than you know. And so we'll, Damon, we'll just shut it down for the day. How's that?
We'll take it from here. I'm going to be real quick. I'm going to get us turned off on LinkedIn here. Thanks so much for joining us on LinkedIn, man. We had Ryan and Sneha, Rebecca. Wow. Who else? Said. We had a bunch of people commenting over here while we were going on, but thanks so much for being here. We will be back again next year. And as Curt said, we've got some guests with us. And I want to thank everyone for being here today. Awesome people on the stage now with us. Val for being so incredible and sharing her knowledge today. But we're going off of LinkedIn Live here, and we are going to go back to the tables in Remo and go from there. Thanks so much.
Merry Christmas, guys.
Merry Christmas.
Hey, round of applause for Val.